Good evening. It's just approaching 30 seconds past 6 o'clock, and welcome to this week's programme. In the news this week, Dorset County Hospital annual awards are now open for nominations. The Going the Extra Mile, or GEM Awards, recognise individual members of staff, teams and volunteers who have gone over and above what is expected to give a difference to people's lives. Over the last 18 months, everyone at Dorset County Hospital has worked incredibly hard to provide the best possible patient care and experience during what has been and continues to be a very challenging and difficult time. The GEM Awards 2021 will be a night of celebration to honour the dedication and commitment of staff and volunteers at the hospital through colleagues, patients and their friends and families who have made an outstanding difference in these unprecedented times. The awards evening will also recognise those staff receiving their 25 years NHS Long Service Awards. This year, the categories in the GEM Awards are the Chairman's Award, the Team of the Year Award, the Leadership Award, Quality Improvement and Innovation Award, Volunteer Award, Lifetime Achievement Award, Student and Apprentice of the Year Award, and Contribution to Research Award, and finally the Patient Safety Award. Trust Chairman Mark Addison said, "Due to the coronavirus pandemic, we sadly had to cancel the 2020 GEM Awards, so we are really looking forward to welcoming them back this year." The GEM Awards are a great opportunity to recognise and thank our staff and volunteers for all they do for the Trust and our patients. So I would encourage you to all nominate those individuals or teams who have made a lasting impression. The deadline for nominations is 5 o'clock on Friday the 10th of September, and the awards evening will be held in November. You can make your contributions online, your nominations, by going to dchft.onlinesurveys.ac.uk GEM Award Nominations 2021. And I'm sure if you go to the Dorset County Hospital Foundation Trust website, you will find a link there. And we'll no doubt mention these awards again nearer the time. So the deadline is Friday the 10th of September, so you've got plenty of time to make a nomination. And we will remind you, so get your thinking hats on, who you might like to nominate at the hospital. Since the spring, Arts Reach has worked with poet Liv Talk, and that's Liv on the screen now, to creatively celebrate Dorset's outstanding local food and drink producers and to thank those who choose to shop locally, particularly since the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Liv's exciting new poem has since been captured on film and is set to go on public release online on Monday the 9th of August, that's this coming Monday at 11 a.m. Dorset is well known for being home of some of the UK's most outstanding local food and drink producers, and many of those are embedded within the communities across the county. And they also partner with Artreach, Dorset's rural touring arts charity, who for over 30 years have worked with local community volunteers to host professional performances in venues such as village halls. Commissioned by Arts Reach with the support of Dorset Food and Drink, Dairy Cows and Dorset Knobs, that's what the poem's going to be called, has been written by Southwest-based performance poet Liv Talk, who then spent time travelling around the county with filmmakers, pageant productions, performing the poem in various locations at numerous food and drink producers' sites to bring the poem to life on screen. Dairy Cows and Dorset Knobs will premiere online 11 o'clock on Monday morning via the Arts Reach YouTube channel and website. So if you go onto YouTube and search for Arts Reach, you'll see that this premiere is already up there, ready for you to link to. The poem has also been printed on a postcard which features illustrations by local artist Delphine Jones, and this is available to pick up from various food and drink outlets across Dorset, or by contacting the Dorset Food and Drink team directly. So look out for that poem if you like poetry. Go onto YouTube, search for Dorset Cows and Dorset Knobs or Arts Reach, and you will find that up there ready for you to link to. Dorset Council, in partnership with the Alliance for Beverage Cartons and the Environment, which is known as ACE UK, is launching a new recycling service for paper containers with metal ends, such as Pringles tubes, hot chocolate, nuts and other products. Local residents can now recycle these containers alongside food and drink cartons at existing specialist recycle banks located at household recycling centres and in car parks across Dorset. The new service is the result of an agreement between ACE, which operates the dedicated food and drink carton recycling service available in Dorset, and packaging manufacturer Sonoco Consumer Products Europe. Councillor Jill Haynes, Dorset Council's portfolio holder for customer and community service, told us paper containers with metal ends such as Pringles tubes cannot be recycled through our curbside waste collections, so we are keen to take this opportunity to include them in our recycling banks at household recycling centres and in car parks. The residents of Dorset have always responded well to the different recycling schemes we've implemented, and we hope that they will take full advantage of this new service. Helen Potter, who's the sustainability commercial lead for Kellogg's, who own Pringles, said, "We know that people will want to recycle their Pringles tubes. Including a solution for Pringles in the recycling bank scheme will allow our consumers to return them to be recycled into something new, and it's an important interim solution as we work towards the development of our new tube. At Kellogg's, we are committed to making all of our packaging recyclable, reusable or compostable by the end of 2025. So, to find out where cartons and paper containers with metal ends can be recycled, go to the Dorset Council website, and particularly it's www.dorsetcouncil.gov.uk/recycling-banks. So that's www.dorsetcouncil.gov.uk/recycling banks, and you'll find the details of locations where those Pringle tubes and other cardboard tubes with metal ends can be recycled. A study has shown early symptoms resulting from COVID-19 infection differ between men and women and among different age groups. The study run by King College London, which looked at data from the Zoe COVID Symptom Study app, that's an app that you can download and update your symptoms on a daily basis, found that following COVID-19 infections, men were more likely to report shortness of breath, fatigue, chills and fever, while women were more likely to report loss of smell, chest pain and a persistent cough. The study also found those aged 60 and above were more likely to report diarrhea symptoms, but loss of smell was less common among this age group. The findings published in the medical journal The Lancet is based on modelling using artificial intelligence to predict early signs of COVID-19 infection. Lead author Claire Steeves from King's College said, "It's important people know the earliest symptoms are wide-ranging and may look different from each member of the family or household. Testing guidance could be updated to enable cases to be picked up earlier, especially in the face of new variants which are highly transmissible. This could include using widely available lateral flow tests for people with any of the non-core symptoms." Overall, the research team examined 18 different symptoms associated with COVID-19, and the early signs included loss of smell, chest pain, persistent cough, abdominal pain, blisters on the feet, eye soreness, and unusual muscle pain. The academics also found fever was not an early feature of the disease in any age group, despite being a known and well publicised COVID-19 symptom. They said their modelling study was used on the original strain of the virus that first appeared in Wuhan, China, as well as the alpha variant of the coronavirus. However, they added that the findings suggest the symptoms of the Delta variant and subsequent variants will also differ across population groups. Weymouth's newest supermarket opened its doors yesterday. The new cooperative is based at the former Bath store site in Buxton Road, Weymouth, and is creating 12 new jobs. The store includes a car parking, a free ATM, bakery, hot food, a fair trade coffee dispenser, alongside a focus on fresh, healthy products, meal ideas, food to go, ready meals and pizzas, free from products, vegan and plant-based products. The store will run on a 100% renewable electricity. Paul Barnes, who's the Co-op store manager, said, "We are delighted to be launching Co-op's newest store. It has a fantastic look and we are looking forward to serving the community. We have worked to develop the range, choice products and added services locally to create a really compelling offer locally. There we go. Dorset Police are warning the public that there have been a series of thefts of Rolex watches in Dorset. The watches have been stolen from victims' wrists and the police are asking the public to remain vigilant. A number of incidents have been reported in recent days, including robberies in Poole, Poundbury and East Dorset. Detective Sergeant Karen Penn of Dorset Police's Priority Crime Team said each of these incidents is subject to a full investigation and we are doing everything we can to identify those involved. We are working with other forces who have experienced similar incidents and sharing intelligence as part of our ongoing inquiries. We would like to renew our plea for members of the public to remain vigilant, particularly if they are wearing expensive watches or items of jewellery. The victims in these cases are generally men aged around 70 or older, and we would urge members of the public to talk to any elderly relatives who could be targeted by this kind of offending to make them aware of these incidents. The offenders, who are described in most cases as Eastern European women and speaking in broken English, often pose as people working for a charity, and we would remind the public that a genuine charity worker would have no issue with showing their identification if required to do so. We would continue to urge anyone who has been a victim of an offence of this nature to report it to the police, and we would also like to hear from anyone who has come across expensive watches such as Rolexes being offered for sale in suspicious circumstances. Of course, if you've got any information, contact Dorset Police in the usual way by dialing 101 for non-urgent matters, or anonymously and independently through charity Crime Stoppers on free phone 0800 555 111. Weymouth, let's get rid of Dorset Police off the screen. There we go. Weymouth Town Council have said this week that there has been a 97% decline in wildflower meadows in the UK since the 1930s. These grasslands bursting with colour and the hum of insects were once at the heart of the landscape, but changing farming practices mean that they are now a rare sight, with just 1% of the UK covered in traditional meadows and grassland. Wildlife-rich grassland are biodiversity hotspots, which can contain over 150 species of flowers and grasses and support a myriad of insects and bees and beetles to grasshoppers and butterflies. Insects like these are at the centre of the food web for larger wildlife, birds, bats, frogs, lizards and small mammals, all who depend on them. Insects are equally important for us humans, pollinating our crops, controlling pests, keeping the soil healthy and recycling waste. Unfortunately, insects are also under threat, with 3/4 of the global insect population thought to have been lost over the last 50 years. In Weymouth Parks and Gardens, wildflower areas have been created to try and help the situation. Even these small-scale wildflower habitats can support a vast array of species, and they are currently blooming. A new area of wildflowers sown on the banks of Greenhill Gardens is now a sea of yellow corn marigolds, with chamomile and blue cornflowers. At Lodmore Country Park, the wildflower area sown by the Friends of Lodmore Country Park in 2016 is now a jungle of campions, knapweed and oxeye daisies. And if you look closer, you can find iridescent green thick-legged flower beetles and hidden ladybirds amongst the throng of bees. The playing fields at Radipole Park Gardens are also a hosted wildflower area next to the orchard. This was expanded this year after being sown with local wildflower seeds and is now a riot of colours and insects. An expansive grass area joining this has been left uncut to provide an extra biodiversity boost. This longer grass thumbs with chirping crickets and is a habitat for swarms of meadow-browned butterflies. And of course, here in White Regis, our ancient churchyard immediately adjacent to All Saints Church in White Regis has been left to wildflowers and insects as well. In fact, this last couple of weeks it's just actually been cut, and I think now they're looking for volunteers to help rake up the grass. So that's all good news for the insects and the bees. This week, going back to Dorset Police again, they're making proactive patrols across the county to tackle antisocial behaviour as part of Operation Relentless, the force's commitment to drive down antisocial behaviour. Officers are continuing to target antisocial behaviour across the county, with patrols taking place last night, that's Friday night, in Weymouth and Bournemouth in particular. Operation Relentless aims to remind residents and visitors that Dorset Police takes a tough approach to antisocial behaviour and sends a very clear message to those involved that it simply will not be tolerated in the county. Chief Inspector Adrian Thompson, the force's antisocial behaviour lead, said ASB, or antisocial behaviour, is a very visible form of disruption and is closely linked to how safe people feel. When it is persistent, it can have a significant impact on people's lives. Operation Relentless has been introduced to show that the force takes this issue seriously. These patrols will not only show our communities that we are committed to this, but we hope that it will act as a deterrent to those who may act in a way that's unacceptable. We want to empower communities to help us fight this issue and take the anti away from antisocial by reporting incidents including loud, abusive, rowdy or intimidating behaviour, drug misuse and intimidating gangs of people to Dorset Police. The good news is that overall antisocial behaviour has fallen across the county over the last 2 years. However, it does traditionally increase over the summer months, and tackling it remains a force priority. Now, it's also important to note that not all antisocial behaviour is dealt with by the police, and some of it is the responsibility of the local authority, such as abandoned vehicles, graffiti and fly posting, damage to public property, rubbish and fly tipping, noise including loud music, noisy neighbours, parties, alarms, animals and noise from pubs and clubs. So if you've got problems in that area, it's the local council you need to contact. But if it's anything else, it's Dorset Police, either on 101, or if it's an emergency where a life is at risk or a crime is being committed, of course, on 999. Going back to Weymouth Town Council again. Weymouth Town Council and the RSPB will be running summer holidays wildlife events at the Children's Community Woodland in Links Road, Westham. The woodland copse was planted last winter as part of Countryfile's Plant Britain campaign, which aims to plant a tree for every child that started school during the pandemic. 520 native saplings have been planted, one for each child that started reception in Weymouth in 2020. These trees will grow with the children, providing food and shelter for wildlife and helping to mitigate against climate change. Families are being invited to join in a morning of wildlife activities at the site on Thursday the 19th of August. Children can build a bug box, and we've got a bug box up on the screen, explore a nature trail and join in wild crafts. This is a free event, but booking is essential, and you can book through Eventbrite. So you can search for it on Eventbrite or obviously via Weymouth Town Council website. I'm sure there will be the link there to get you to the booking site. 2 sessions are available starting at 10 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. and all children must be accompanied. Excuse me. So that's that one. 2 new machines will be hitting the roads from this summer to help keep Dorset roads clear of rainwater. Dorset Highways has taken ownership of a new gully cart along with a new jetter to support the essential work of its drainage fleet, which forms part of the council's preventive maintenance programme. With the new arrival, Dorset Highways Gully Fleet now has 3 purpose-built machines which will operate across Dorset Council network, providing a proactive programme of emptying debris from highway drains which, left unchecked, can block road drainage systems and obviously lead to roads being flooded. The new jetter, which replaces a smaller turbo unit, will provide greater capacity and efficiency and join the fleet of first responders to reports of flooding, with 2 turbo units and 2 7-ton jetter vehicles now covering the whole council area. The mixed fleet approach ensures no matter the size of the road or its location, there is a drainage vehicle able to reach and clear any blocked gully. Well, there we go. That's our headlines this week, and it's just past 6:20. This evening, when we look at our other articles, we're following our Weymouth and Melcombe Regis 450 theme. And this week, Janet Hall is looking at Weymouth historically becoming a seaside holiday destination, and in particular, the visits of George III to take the waters of Weymouth.
Hello. Do you remember last week we were talking about Weymouth and Melcombe Regis in the Civil War? This week we're going to move on about 100 years and think about how it started to become a seaside resort. It all began when Ralph Allen, whose wife Elizabeth suffered from bad health and thought seawater might help her condition, rented lodgings in Weymouth. They liked it so much that Allen had a summer home here overlooking the harbour. Allen was advised to use sea bathing, and he had a bathing machine constructed for his own use, and happily received great benefit. The Allens spent up to 3 months each summer in Weymouth, entertaining Allen's artistic and political friends, and even royalty, which in 1758 included Edward, Duke of York, George III's brother. These fashionable visitors helped to establish Weymouth's reputation as a healthy seaside resort for the wealthy. George III's own health wasn't very good, so in 1789 he made his first visit to Weymouth. Using one of the first bathing machines, George took a dip in the bay. The bathing machines were designed as mobile changing rooms and could be wheeled into the water to allow discreet entry into the sea. As George emerged from the water, a band played God Save the King. Weymouth was very much enjoyed by the king, and after a few vacations here he purchased Gloucester Lodge on the Esplanade from his brother the Duke of Gloucester. This was to become his holiday home whenever he visited Weymouth. Gloucester Lodge eventually became a hotel and suffered a fire in 1927. After the fire, another floor was added to the top of the building and the porch was built at the front. Gloucester Lodge is now converted to luxury apartments, the views from which are delightful. George III established Weymouth as a major seaside resort. With its soft golden sands and sheltered bay, it became George's favourite place to be. Before long, Weymouth had visitors rich and famous flocking to the resort, and others along the Dorset coast. The carving of a chalk figure of a horse and rider in the hillside above Osmington, overlooking Weymouth Bay, is said to depict that of King George. Created around 1808, the king was said to be dismayed that it was in the direction of going away from Weymouth. However, 1805 saw the last visit of George to the town. A monument by way of a statue of George III was erected in 1810 at the junction of the two main streets of the town, St Mary's Street and St Thomas Street. And there it is to this very day, in the middle of the road along the seafront, a permanent reminder of what royalty did for Weymouth. Close by is a replica of his bathing machine. These machines were very popular with the wealthy Weymouth holidaymakers of the day who wanted to enter and exit the sea in privacy. People still flock to Weymouth for the sun and the sands and the sea bathing, and let's hope they will for a long time to come. Bye for now.
Sorry, pressed the wrong button there. That was clever, wasn't it? Thank you, Janet, very much for that. And of course, George III was known to frequent White Regis. and attend services at All Saints Church, often on his trips to Weymouth between 1790 and 1805. In fact, one entry in the Churchwarden's accounts, dated the 13th of September 1791, states, "Paid for beer for ye ringers when His Majesty came to Wyke, 5 shillings and 0 pence." Well, that's the equivalent in today's money of a day's wages, or probably around £20 to £30 in cash. So yes, King George III used to come to Wyke Regis as well as Weymouth. Moving on to our next story, and it's just coming up to 6:26. We mentioned in our headlines this week the poem being done for Artsreach. You may well have heard of Artsreach. We have mentioned them before. And they are an organisation that takes projects like plays, etc., and concerts out into the communities and supports them. So I thought it would be interesting to have a look at Artsreach and see exactly what they do, because we might be quite surprised. So here we go. Here's a look at Artsreach throughout Dorset.
Whenever it comes to this village, to our village hall, we know full well that we're going to get an evening to remember.
Artsreach started nearly 30 years ago. We are a charity. We take the performing arts, theatre, music and dance out to communities across rural Dorset.
It brings some unique acts. It brings professional acts into your village hall that you just would not see without going to London or travelling elsewhere, and it brings them all in at an excellent subsidised price, and it just brings the community together as well.
We enjoy sitting in the village hall and seeing the local ladies providing cake and cups of tea, and it's just a fun experience, and we get to know Dorset better too.
Once upon a time, the opportunity to come out to villages in rural environments is crucial, and a great joy too. It's a fantastic scheme, really.
We have quite a large international element, bringing music, theatre and dance from countries all over the world to the stages here in Dorset.
There's a great feeling of camaraderie. I think there's a feeling of gratitude also to Artsreach.
There's just nothing like Artsreach, nothing like the variety.
Rural touring has been a huge part of my life for over 20 years now, and I think the first tours I did were for Artsreach. Not only have they been a huge part of my career, they provide the communities that they serve with a huge advantage in bringing arts right into the heart of the communities.
The way Artsreach works is through a network of volunteers right across the county. We work through around 50 villages and around 300 volunteers, and they're responsible for everything really. They make Artsreach happen. So right from selecting the performances they want to take to their communities, to selling the tickets, putting up the posters, spreading the word, putting out the chairs, welcoming the company and being there on the night, and then quite often actually accommodating the performance overnight as well, feeding them and making them feel welcome. So they are the lifeblood of what we do.
We couldn't do it without them.
We couldn't.
Just what they have to do.
They enable people who wouldn't normally have access to such productions from all over the country and all over the world to actually have access to them at an affordable price.
Shouts, Eureka, becomes a streaker with the water pouring all over the floor.
You're invited into people's village halls and you're fed like you're a guest, and then you're invited to their house to stay often as well, because we're away from home, so often you have a bed, and it's sort of like a working holiday sometimes.
Yeah, especially in Dorset.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's lovely, you build up these friendships with people that you see, you know, for a couple of hours every year, but they become close to you. It's an aside, but they become your friends, you know, you care about them.
You have the opportunity to see performers very close up, to talk to them afterwards. It's an experience that you don't get with the average professional musician or theatre company.
I love the sense of community. We get fantastic audiences at these events because it is a community in a room. I like offering that community a shared experience.
But we didn't capsize. Be an independent woman of means. And then the rich man on the hill, his youngest son, he'll fall in love with me.
And the starlings singing.
There's always a nice mixture as well, I find, with the shows in Dorset. You always get a nice mixture of sort of young and old.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is always nice. It's refreshing to sort of see a mixture of society, I guess.
It is just a fantastic way of making sure that we're really developing that social cohesion that is so vital for the health and welfare of our communities.
They do it because they love it, we do it because we love it, and the audience, you know, the whole thing is just this unique, wonderful concept, and it works. It's brilliant.
The chance to see something exceptionally good, nationally, internationally, world class. To have really first-rate performers in the smallest of our village halls is something quite magic.
There we go, that's Arts Reach, very much out there in the community, bringing arts performances and projects to the rural communities. I don't know if you noticed there towards the end of that report the Cavell Tower from Kimmeridge, demonstrating that very much taking these sort of events out to those more remote areas of Dorset. Now, the time is just coming up to 6:32. Dr. Amir Khan may be a name that you recognise. He is one of what we now call our popular TV GPs or TV doctors. He stars in GPs Behind Closed Doors and is often to be seen on Good Morning Britain giving advice. Dr. Amir is very keen on keeping life still moving despite coronavirus. And he's recently produced a report and a video for the UK government on how to stay safe with COVID whilst keeping things moving. And I thought I would share that with you this evening.
We've come a long way in our fight against COVID-19, and thanks to all of our actions, we can now enjoy many of the things we've missed. But the virus is still with us. Even if you've been vaccinated, you can still get COVID-19 and you can still pass it on to others. Around 1 in 3 people with COVID-19 have no symptoms and could be spreading it without knowing. But there are simple things we can do to help reduce the spread. If you don't have any symptoms, keep using rapid COVID-19 tests twice a week and report your results. That way, you know you're not spreading the virus. If you have symptoms, even mild ones, don't guess. You should take a PCR test immediately to confirm if you have the virus. Keep washing those hands. It kills the virus and helps stop the spread. And wear a face covering in crowded places, particularly indoors and on public transport to help protect others. If you're going out, use the NHS COVID-19 app to check into venues and stay informed. It's the fastest way to see if you're at risk. And if you are meeting up indoors, make sure to open a window or door. Better still, as it's summertime, meet up outdoors if you can. These things aren't new. We've been doing them for over a year, and it just makes sense to carry on. Let's do what we can to keep this virus under control, because it takes all of us to keep life moving.
So there we are from Dr. Amir Khan. If you want to keep life moving but stay as safe as possible, meet outside if you can, let fresh air in when indoors, wash your hands regularly, wear a face covering in crowded places, check into venues using the NHS COVID app, and test yourself twice a week. And remember, those PCR tests are available, sorry, not the PCR, the lateral flow tests are available free of charge from your local chemist. And you can pop in anytime and pick them up. Okay, it's now coming up to 6:35 and it's time for us to hear from the Met Office with this week's national weather forecast, and this week it's from Aidan McGibbon.
Hello again. There'll be further heavy showers in many places this weekend, but they'll be fairly unevenly distributed. Some places will get slow-moving downpours, shower after shower after shower. Other places will see a bit more sunshine coming through and actually long, dry interludes. Into the evening on Saturday, the showers continue through central areas, whilst it's a little drier in the south and the far north. Just a clump of rain there to watch out for from the North Sea into northeast Scotland. But either way, the night time on Saturday is going to be mild with 14 or 15 degrees the low as we wake up on Sunday. And then Sunday, more of the same effectively, still low pressure in charge, still showers or longer spells of rain. The greatest risk of these showers again for parts of southern Scotland into Northern Ireland, Northern England, parts of Wales. But either side, I think a better chance of some sunshine and longer spells where we avoid the showers for southern parts of the UK, the far north of Scotland as well. It's still breezy in the south, it's still on the cool side, temperatures generally 18 to 22 Celsius. But those showers are ever so slightly easing later in the weekend. There'll still be showers around on Monday, still the risk of some heavy downpours, but by Tuesday with that low pressure filling, many places turning drier and brighter. Follow us on social media and we'll keep you updated as always. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much there, Aidan. And what about the local weather for the week ahead? Very much tying in with the national forecast, with rain continuing tomorrow and into Monday. But from Monday, brightening up, being drier and more sunny spells, but hopefully not too much rain in the week ahead. So after Monday, drier times are here, but not too hot. So the sort of weather I like, the sort of temperate, dry, but not too hot weather. Moving on to traffic and travel. The roadworks coming up this week. Southern Gas Networks are working in Doncaster Road in White Regis. Wessex Water in Fairview Road in White Regis. Now, Wessex Water are also working in Radipole Lane and Chickrell Road, and both of these sets of work may cause some delays to your journeys with traffic control in place and lanes closed. So just be aware of that. That's in Radipole Lane and Chickrell Road this week. On the trains, there will be delays on journeys to London this weekend and for the start of the week, which could extend journey times by 40 minutes or so due to improvements on the line with signalling and points at Weybridge in Surrey, which is resulting in journeys being diverted. There is also the ongoing works in the Bristol area, which will cause a disruption from time to time on the wider network, and that will run up until September. So particularly if you're travelling this weekend or on Monday, just be aware that your journey, if you're heading towards London, is going to be a little bit longer on the train. Looking at what's on, at Weymouth Pavilion, of course, we're in the summer season now, so the Pirates of the Pavilion are running on Mondays and Tuesdays through to the 31st of August at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. On the 12th of August, they've got the Take That Experience. On the 13th of August, Uptown Joel. 15th of August, Midnight Training to Gladys is a Gladys Knight tribute band. And on the 19th of August, The Magic of the Beatles. So lots of music styles there. If you're interested in those. At the Noth, tomorrow, the 8th of August, they've got the New Creations Collective presenting The Secret Garden. So do look on the Noth website, see if there are any tickets left if you fancy an evening out tomorrow night. That's 6:30 at the Noth. On the 14th of August, to the 14th and 15th of August, they've got their Victorian weekend, so that's next weekend. That's always a very popular event with lots of period costume and lots of appropriate activities going on. And the 21st of August, they got the return of the Matchstick Fleet to the Noth on display. Something that's happened over many years. That's there again from the 21st of August. And also on the 21st of August, in Weymouth, at St Mary's Church, I think it is. Let me just check the poster. It's at St Mary's Church, yes. It's an evening of Elizabethan music, or music of the Elizabethan age, at 7:30 p.m, St Mary's Church, Weymouth, 21st of August. It's organised by the Thomas Fowell Buxton Society as part of the Weymouth and Melcombe Regis 450 celebrations. Tickets are £12 for adults, £6 for children. It includes a glass of wine or a soft drink during the interval, and there are concessions for senior citizens or students at £10. Now, I haven't got any details where the tickets are available, but do have a look online, and we'll try and find out by next week and let you know where the tickets are available. But you could search for the Thomas Fowell Buxton Society and see if they're available on their website. But we will tell you by next week where they are available. And details on the Weymouth 450 activities in White Regis are now published on the Parish of White Regis website at www.parishofwhiteregis.org.uk. It includes an arts exhibition, some talks, and a photo competition, most importantly. So if you're a keen local photographer, do take some local photographs, do look at the rules of the competition on the website, and do upload them and have a chance to win some prizes as part of that, and have your photos on display over the weekend of the Arts Festival. It's now the film section part of our programme, and it's just between 6:41 and 6:42. And this week's film is another advance notice of a new release which will be out after the summer. And if you like westerns and cowboys, this is one for you. It's from Warner Brother Pictures, and it comes from director-producer Clint Eastwood, a name you'll be very familiar with. And it's an uplifting and poignant drama called Cry Macho. The film stars Eastwood as Mike Milo, a one-time rodeo star and washed-up horse breeder who, in 1979, takes a job from an ex-boss to bring the man's young son home from Mexico. Forced to take the back roads on their way to Texas, the unlikely pair faces an unexpectedly challenging journey, during which the world-weary horseman finds unexpected connections and his own sense of redemption. Also starring is Eduardo Mine as the young boy Raffo in his feature film debut, Natalia Traven as Marta, with Dwight Yoakam as Mike's former employer, Howard Polk. The cast also includes Fernando Uriola, God, I can't say some of these, and Horatio Gracio Rojas, and it's obviously produced and directed by Oscar-winning Clint Eastwood, from a screenplay by Nick Schenk and N. Richard Nash, based on the novel that Nash wrote. Warner Brothers Pictures presents a production, Cry Macho. The film's going to be distributed worldwide by Warner Brothers, and it should be in UK cinemas on the 12th of November this year. So here we go. Cry Nacho.
Back when we had winners, I was afraid to lose you to the competition. 5 times you won the All-American. That was a long time ago, wasn't it? That was before the accident. Before the booze. You know how many people told me to just cut you loose? You gonna say anything?
Howard, I've always thought of you as a small, weak, and gutless man. But you know, there's no reason to be rude.
You owe me, Mike. You gave me your word. And that used to mean something. My son, Rafael, he's in trouble. I want to get him out of Mexico.
You want me to go down there and kidnap him?
Please, just get him back up here. Just you?
Just me. Hey, Rafa, you can come out now. I'm a friend of the family.
Touch me and I'll kick your ass, old man.
Jesus Christ. Get in the back.
We go and I tell you, okay?
Look, the only place you're gonna go is the hospital.
You get too angry. It's not good for you. You used to be strong, macho.
I used to be a lot of things, but I'm not now. Now, I'll tell you something. This macho thing is overrated. just people trying to be macho, show that they've got grit. That's about all they end up with. It's like anything else in life. You think you got all the answers. I'm Mike.
Marta.
And you realize as you get older, you don't have any of them. We all have to make choices in life, kid. You have to make yours.
His name is Macho. Like me, very strong rooster.
Whatever.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. Guy wants to name his cock Macho. It's okay by me.
There we go. Starring Clint Eastwood, directed by Clint Eastwood, and coming to our big screens in the cinemas from the 12th of November, Cry Macho. Well, we're coming towards the end of our programme, and it's just coming up to 6:46. Just a reminder of things that are happening. Tomorrow at All Saints Church there will be no 8 AM service, but there will be a 9:30 service which is also live streamed, and a service at St Edmund's Church at 11 o'clock. Tonight there is no quiz. We're taking a break for our quizzes through August, and the quiz will be back on the 4th of September at 7:30. So no quizzes to the 4th of September at 7:30. But on Friday we still got our Year in Gardening with Clive Gray, 7 PM on Friday evenings. We just had a new one we broadcast last night, so if you haven't seen that, that's a new one that has just been produced in the last few days. We have been doing catch-up of programmes that were produced last year through the lockdown, but this week's programme was a brand new episode. And most importantly, if you like to know about things that are happening locally and local news, do support your local community radio stations throughout the week. Chesil Radio, Keep 106 and Air 107.2. And of course, if you've got anything happening during August, any events, any fundraising activities, anything you want to share with the community, do drop us an email at news@White We'll be happy to share that with people in our programmes or on our Facebook page and let them know what's going on. But if not, have a good week. Enjoy the drier weather when it comes from Tuesday onwards. And we will be back at 6 o'clock next Saturday evening for our next programme. Good night and have a good week.